What's up, bro?
I'm doing good. Hello from Silicon Valley. How are you?
I've been real busy, man. I've
Yeah.
been uh, I've been doing a lot of work, man. I did some consulting work this week with a few brands. Um, been making some real connections too for people to present some ideas. So we're gonna see how they go in the next couple of months. Really prepared for this next decade. To be honest with you, I where do we start, man? It's so much going on in the financial segment and the tech segment, and I know I know where we can start off.
Yeah, it
Did
keeps
you?
getting more interesting. There's more surprises coming. I mean, just,
Yeah, I think it's
yeah.
way more surprises and opportunities, man. Like when I saw that Apple was talking about working on the car, I got kind of excited, man. Not for the simple fact that they were doing a car, but I could see the actual car makeup having the physical capabilities of what Apple products are on and what they're about.
hmm Yeah, I've seen a couple of the Apple cars out here testing. I knew someone that used to work on the Apple Car project. So that division's called Apple Special Projects Group,
Hmm.
Apple SPG.
Yeah,
They're very secretive.
I could
Um,
tell. I could tell.
that's Apple. It's like they got the cult following. As soon as we hear about anything,
I'm going to invest in
everyone
Apple.
everyone pounces on it. I did not expect that reaction in the stock price. Like I thought that that their Apple Car was already well known. It looked like the price of it wasn't baked in yet, and that little rally kind of shows now
Yeah,
the stock price recognizes it.
I think so too because when I think about technology, I think about Apple. It's one of the first companies that come to mind. Also, like Amazon comes to mind too. You know what I'm saying? Because you know Bezos moved from like books and selling books at the garage and at the home, and plus he had his the parents' money to help support that. But like to actually see he's into the tech space, man, it's crazy, bro. But yeah, Apple. I feel like Apple is their long term stock that I'm really focused on this next decade to be able to invest for not only myself but really for the next generation. That's one of my
Mhm.
goals. Like to put it in their portfolio because I don't see it stopping anytime soon.
Yeah. Another event that happened today too. The stimulus passed, so we're gonna get $600 checks for everyone, $300 a week unemployment for 11 weeks, and they're already talking about another stimulus package, another 2K. So um, one way to react to that is, all right, so you're probably getting some extra cash,
Yeah,
and if you're already investing, you don't want that cash just sitting under your mattress.
nah,
It's
burning a
not doing
hole.
nothing.
Nah,
Yeah, if you don't have any investment ideas, or if you don't know where to look, I would rather give my money to Apple and let them go do things, invent new things for me. I trust where they're going, their futuristic vision. But don't sleep on it under your mattress.
hell
Put
no.
it somewhere. I I trust Amazon. It's gonna do something. They're gonna be launching rockets, or Apple's gonna be integrating their iOS probably into the electronics of a car, or making it self-driving. Like they got a bright future ahead. That's a good place to store your money so it keeps working for you.
I think Bitcoin too. I think Bitcoin is another piece that I was saying invest into. But before we kind of tap into Bitcoin, like what are some companies like what are a few companies that you would say or suggest to invest into that's dealing with these autonomous cars? Like I had it was a couple of companies that came across some of the different talks that I had going on. I'm gonna look it up and tell you exactly who it was. Um You may have already heard of them because
Yeah,
I
what's yeah,
yeah,
what's
V,
what's what's up there in the
v,
headlines already? That's all to know.
VL one is VLDR and one is LAZR.
All right,
I
so
know there was
that's a hardware play. They make the lasers. They're called lidars. They shoot a
lidar
beam
lidars.
lidar.
Okay.
Yeah, so they shoot a beam of light,
Uh
and by
huh.
measuring how long it takes for that light to bounce back, they can tell how far it is. So they create an image. They create a 3D map.
Okay.
So the 3D map, it will show there's a person here. Using the code, of course, there's a person here. There's a vehicle here. It can see through fog. It can go through. It's So where lidar is strong, where it's important to self-driving, like cameras, they get blinded by the sun.
Yeah.
So if a camera's blinded by the sun, it might not be able to see a person, or it might not be
Hmm.
able to see a car. So there's other hardwares that helps it see. So one would be the radar.
Okay.
Radar can see through fog and snow. Lidar is like the most um, like powerful technology made self-driving come sooner. So yeah, there's Velodyne and Luminar, and those both came public recently. So that's a hardware play.
Okay.
And you saw the reaction in the stock price, or once Apple that rumor got out, those stocks just
Skyrocketing.
yeah, they shot up because like, oh, they're gonna need to use their hardware.
Yeah.
It's a whole ecosystem though, so
Yeah.
there's different angles. You may have heard like Uber was working on self-driving.
Yeah.
Like the way the ecosystem's going to look is there's going to be a lot of partnerships. So let's say Toyota could have their self-driving car, Tesla could have its self-driving car,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Cause I see it coming.
Google have its car.
Yeah. Google.
Like,
I saw Google and I saw Walmart.
but
Like Mar.
who has the passengers? Right, you have to get to the passengers through the rideshare platforms. Uber and Lyft
Yeah.
indirectly are
Already ready.
yeah, they're gonna charge a small commission. They're the software from Apple or whatever. It's they're all gonna get a cut of it.
So that's a built-in price too. That what I'm saying, like that one may not factor in on how on how to make that $600 work, where you can invest that money. So it's like why not make those if I'm not going to invest into like the stock or some crypto or something like that. I will say the next thing I would invest into is some literature as far as books, some courses that as far as like learning technology. I would at least do that so that way
Hmm.
I can understand what's going on, because that's I feel like that's what I did better in this last decade personally. I was already reading books and information, but now it's like it was more technical, and it broke things down to where I got a better understanding of things. Now what I didn't get a hold of was my emotional intelligence as far as like the different markets. But once I saw like, okay, where my hold is the long term hold, because it's always gonna be short term runs, regardless of if some people do options. I haven't really been a part of the options play, but I'm like, it's something that I know I'll look into on when my bag increases and when my bag grows, because I see some things happening for me that's starting to take off to where I'm like, okay, I can see how I can improve my financial literacy going into the fintech side of things, and what I'm currently working on too.
There's many different ways to invest, and there are many different ways that can be successful. Um, so speaking of like self-driving cars and the Apple, that created a lot of momentum in the space, just like Tesla created all that momentum
Yeah,
into EV. The charging, like Blink, the battery, the QuantumScape. It's just word gets out that a Tesla size car manufacturer is gonna need batteries, or it's gonna need charging, and then man, everything just like all the boats just go up. Like Tesla's like that tide.
man.
I call those momentum plays. You see very drastic moves short term
Mm-hmm.
to the up and to the down,
Yeah.
and it's hard to time. The best thing to do is just you lay down some surfboards on each of those waves and just wait till they come. It's hard to chase. If you kind of chase that momentum, you might hit it, you might not. So when you do decide how to place your bets, also think momentum versus long term, and ask yourself, is it priced in yet? Does a stock price, do they already have a run up because they know, Apple's going to order a bunch of their hardware, or Tesla's going to be using the rideshare platform?
No, that makes sense, man. Um, that rideshare platform is kind of like wow. So what they did a few years ago to really mess up the, I ain't gonna say mess it up, but like change the game when it comes to taxis and riding, they made it more of a peer to peer ride almost, company. So it's almost like dealing with the crypto, the peer to peer transactions. It's happening. But I wanted to piggyback off the some of the companies that you called out, which was like Tesla and Apple. We both talked about that, and I just saw Oracle. So one of my homeboys has an article where it says Startup City accelerated growth strains Austin. Like Oracle as well as Tesla and Apple are talking about moving to Austin. So it's like that's really gonna raise the prices of the homes in Austin. I don't know how big Austin is already, but I know from the music forms that they have, I already know the traffic is crazy. So I can only imagine what it's about to go into. Like,
Yeah, what are
are they gonna go expand the city now to go buy more property in other cities to extend the lines? Or what?
Yeah, there's a lot packed into there. I understand what Elon Musk and Oracle are trying to do. They're already very mature companies. They already have very established brands and investors. They have a talent pool that will move with them. So them going over to Texas is for like favorable tax treatment. There's lower
Yeah.
taxes. They'll get tax incentives to move, set up an office there. The cost of living, like the house is cheaper there. I get
Way
it.
cheap. Yeah.
But for Silicon Valley, it's a separate question on my perspective. And based here, if you're a startup and you're trying to take off and you're trying to get people that have built startups before, people
Hmm.
that have networked into venture capital money, you have that community effect only in Silicon Valley. Austin will eventually build it up, but Silicon Valley, the network effect of
Yeah.
having all this venture capital here, that goes back, like way back before Intel. That's
Well, Nvidia and stuff too.
decades deep. So
Wow.
so you can't ship a Silicon Valley right away.
Hmm.
I see their moving advantage. Those are established companies, very mature companies, very defined markets. But to come to Silicon Valley, it's gonna serve a purpose for younger companies to get started. It's still going to be that accelerator for technology.
Yeah. I can really see that, man. So like now we got to get into that talk we were having because I was like, man, that coin going down. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that, dog. Don't tell me that, Lee. Don't tell me that shit, Lee. No, Lee. No, Lee. And I'm like, I've been a big component and a big proponent of XRP. I was XRP. I was doing a bankhead bounce to that shit. I was
How are you
I
feeling
started
about
I
it? How
started
are you feeling
juking.
now?
I started juking. I'm getting sad by the day on it, man. Like the more I go on, I'm like, nah, don't tell me this, man. Cause I'm gonna tell you why how I feel about XRP. It's like my question is like why would companies such as Bank of America, um, American Express, and a bunch of other companies like MoneyGram, like why would they tie themselves into XRP if that's the case, and if I'm thinking forward, if I'm a forward thinker, like it's almost like when Bitcoin was taken off, and then it reached a cap of like 20K, but then it dipped back down to like 2K. But the whole time I was seeing what JP Morgan was doing. Every time JP Morgan would say something about Bitcoin and the price would drop, I'm knowing that JP Morgan, they going back and they putting money into Bitcoin. because you call it out, the price gonna rise, or it's gonna fall. So with it decreasing, with the sanctions that you're trying to come with, now look at where Bitcoin is. It's up to like 27K. I think it hit 28K at one point today, if I'm not mistaken. So it's like, for me, how is it that the SEC is regulating things? And you broke it down to me, but I need that thing further broken down, man.
So the article I shared a few from Wall Street Journal. I'm not against. I'm not like I don't really have any strong feelings either way. It was just one. It never its value proposition. The story. It was saying this is the service deliver. It never really resonated with me.
Okay.
But specifically with the lawsuit, um, the way it breaks down is that the SEC is saying that when Ripple they created like a billion something XRP,
Mm-hmm.
those were securities. So securities like a stock share.
Okay.
So when you sell stock shares, there has to be transparency on your finances. You need to every quarter
You
you
need to
need to
share the
publish
information.
your costs, your income, your expenses. That way the public knows whether to buy more or to sell. It's it would it prevents like insider trading. It creates accountability. So Ripple, it's still a private company, and the way it's moving forward is the CEO actually streamed on Christmas, and he was saying like, if you wanted to invest into Ripple as like a part owner, there's like a venture capital wing for that. But our currency is separated. So he was trying to say that uh, buying Ripple, it's like buying coins. It's not buying a stock share. He was trying to split the two, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes down in the next month or two. I think I
You
think
think
it
it,
will. What's going to happen? It'll be more clarity with the new administration coming in, Janet Yellen coming in.
so you think it'll? Do you think it'll rally up or no? Be for
I
real.
think
Be for real, Lee. Be for real.
I'd say buy low, sell high. Like I'll buy something that's really risky. Like when
Uh huh.
Boeing airplanes were crashing, and it was $100.
You sold
It,
that shit.
it was $100. It looks pretty good at $100 a share. It doesn't look that good at $400 per share, which is what Boeing was at. So if it goes sufficiently low enough, when it was 20 cents per Ripple,
Mm.
I was like, that's a pretty good price. I was really thinking about that, and then it bounced pretty good off of that.
Well, shit, it's too late. It's too late for me to pull off of that, cause it went from like I was buying in at 15
Hmm.
cent, and that shit went to like maybe
Yeah,
60, 70, 80 cent. I'm like, oh
yeah,
man, I done missed the opportunity. But
yeah,
I don't. I'm not mad about it because
yeah.
I'm taking on the mind frame that what I'm investing in is long term. So we're doing that. It's like at least I can learn from decisions that I make. Some decisions
Hmm.
aren't going to be the brightest. Some decisions are going to be some good instinct decisions where it's like I like that this company is talking about Dimension. It's a cannabis company, so I invest into them. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things. I'm like, at least if I stick to the guns, I know that it was something that I was already invested into, and I'll just make it happen. As it prolongs, I'll just dump if I have to dump.
I think one way to kind of move forward, and we're all learning like that was a curveball that came out of nowhere,
Hell
and
yeah.
who knows if it's going to affect some of the other companies too. So I would say that I think it's always good to invest in things you believe in, because when you get a curveball like that,
Yeah.
it makes it easier to hold through. And good companies, these are companies that are solving problems, that are creating
Hmm.
value to society. Like you want to support those kind of things with your investments, whether it's cannabis and health,
Yeah.
cannabis mental health, or whatever. Like if you always invest like that, think investing in good quality companies, uh, good quality products. It keeps your investing just simple. There's a consistency in how you're investing, and you can immediately screen away a lot of speculative things that just make no sense.
Yeah.
Like the worst reason to buy something is because you think there's momentum there and you want to chase it.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, and that's like those plays I made in the last decade. I think were for me to learn from, and because I was, I was just, I was fresh. I said I had it was still wet behind the ears. You know what I mean? So it's like now I'm looking at definitely going hard into my cannabis companies because how the legalization is continuously picking up from a federal level, where I'm like how Mississippi moved on it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like with Mississippi moving on it, I don't see people hanging around Tennessee doing as much as they're doing. I see a lot of business that's gonna, be generated from that, from the agriculture segment to be able to grow, cannabis. And not only just grow, but like grow the economy. Because when I think of the plant and the flower, I feel like I see jobs and I see that, say for instance, I know that Ole Miss has been in that field and in that spectrum for probably the last 20 to 30 years, unbeknownst to most people. You know what I'm saying? But now it's like, okay, with them doing what they doing in Mississippi, now that it's opened up a lane, how much of that money is gonna go towards Ole Miss? Because they've been doing grows, and they've been doing grow houses, they've been studying the plant or whatnot.
I can see it picking up, like regardless of who the next administration was. I think it was inevitable in
Yeah,
that
it has to be.
one is was just a stigma of what cannabis is or who does it. Like the images that media put in our head were all just like a generation or two ago. That was not what it was really about. So I
Nah, it
think
never was.
people were tolerant of it. Secondly, they're gonna need tax revenue. All these stimulus checks,
Mm-hmm.
all this unemployment, and just like just all the deficits. If something can generate tax revenue, and for a whole site, it's not like a net bad. Like why not just tax it? That's just solving two problems,
That
in
makes
one.
that makes sense. That's what Oregon was doing when they said they about to legalize damn near every drug, hard, soft, whatever. It don't matter. They said, look, let's just go for the gauntlet. We gonna run this mug. We gonna everything. But like I said, I do see I can see the state of Mississippi really growing right now. They can have some real growth in the I feel like in this future
Yeah.
economy, there's it's gonna be some real growth around the agriculture because
Do
that's a
you
cash it's a cash crop.
uh, do you have some? Does your family legacy have some land out in Mississippi? Is that why you
So
mentioned it?
we have land in Tennessee. We got like 40 acres in Tennessee. But I have a few homies with acres in Tennessee. I got a few people around me with acres in Mississippi. So it's just more or less like for me, this is when I was talking to my crew the last 20 years like, look, bro, let's start putting money in together. So when it's time to buy, when there's a crash in the market or whatever's going on, we have a lump sum of liquid cash or liquid business that we can cash out and cash into. Now we can have an opportunity to invest into some things like land now. But I mean, like some of the guys already had bread, so it just makes sense to me to get land to develop that land. But yeah, I'm looking forward to like the next phase is what pretty much where I am though. So like what my I want to tell you, my homeboy was saying he really liked that last episode. It really got him in the mind frame of wanting to start investing into the market and really, my homeboy calls it jumping off the porch, just getting involved instead of just putting your toe in the water and just seeing all this stuff fly by you. He like, man, I want to jump in the pool now. I'm ready. So it's just basically,
Good.
helping them set up a system. So I was like, I'm glad to hear that that conversation took place. You know what I'm saying? But another homeboy, he sent me a message about what was Wrap Bitcoin. I had never heard of this. Was it another split or something that went on, or what is this?
Yeah. So um, a split would be a fork, like how
Yeah.
Bitcoin Cash forked. A hard fork is where, just to refer to that one, they wanted Bitcoin Cash to be quicker. Um, Bitcoin was just too slow. Um, so, so specifically wrapped Bitcoin, it's an Ethereum token. So
Okay.
it's a coin that runs on the Ethereum blockchain, and its price is pegged to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is 27,000 today. So is wrapped Bitcoin, and it's kind of part of the smart contract and decentralized exchange technology. So basically, you can swap a Bitcoin into Ethereum without having to run it through like a Binance or a Coinbase. That
Oh, okay, okay.
so that would be the ultimate like decentralized economy. So instead of having to pay fees, I mean the fees are fairly reasonable
Yeah.
though on Coinbase or Binance. They're fairly reasonable.
Hmm.
Like to buy $1,000 of Bitcoin on Coinbase, it's like $7. That's not even 1%. MoneyGram transfer money is like 7%. It's reasonable,
Yeah.
but it would be close to, it would just be pennies if you could do coin swap.
Hmm.
Like, yeah. Let me. I'm gonna. Okay, I froze here a little. Yeah. So there's a lot. Crypto's changed a lot in the past couple years, since it was really buzzing. With it, the new all-time highs. I call it. It's like a Cambrian explosion. It's like all these ideas, all these things are just like blooming now. It's a really fertile to be right now.
Yeah.
So there's, in addition to Wrap Bitcoin, there's like Ren Bitcoin, and at the end of the day, there's only one Bitcoin, the first
The
blockchain,
initial.
the first
Yeah.
cryptocurrency, and that's Bitcoin. Those are interesting projects. They have special purposes. For a newer investor that just wants to start getting in, I'd say start. Uh, I'm very traditional, so I'd say start there. Start with the foundation, and that's the foundation of cryptocurrency.
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
Yeah. I think and I heard a couple of people like they don't want to mess with Litecoin, but I'm like, why not? That was one of the original three: Bitcoin, Litecoin, or Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. So it's like me, I'm really looking at long term investing, going back into Bitcoin and Ethereum more so with my with things. But I'm also looking at again PayPal because it's a book I'm reading. It's like 38 pages long, talking about the different levels of the cryptocurrency. It was like 38 different coins they have. Um, I'm really looking at how PayPal is looking at adopting and being able to use. Like I think I want to say Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin, if I'm not mistaken. Like you can actually purchase on PayPal now. So it's also taking me back to that conversation of PayPal. I want to say Square, and it was a group in London where they put, the group in London put like 20 billion cash on the blockchain last year, but this year was like 425 million from like Square, and then PayPal. They made that merger with I guess the usage of Bitcoin or being able to buy. So it's just like why not put a little bit of why not put $10 on it a week? Why not put $100 on there a week and actually watch your money increase and and actually take off?
Yeah.
It's
So the
making more
Square.
making more money in that aspect
Mhm.
than I am in with my money being in a bank account.
Yeah, I'm a big fan and shareholder of both Square and PayPal. Square's done some amazing things this year. Like it's really taken off. It's like found its time. It hit its stride,
Yeah.
and it keeps building more products on it. It's going to be a super app for fintech. And what's special about it is a lot of people that use Cash App, they weren't able to have bank accounts before. They were considered the unbankable because their deposit was too small, or they would be getting dinged by fees. So what its CEO Jack Dorsey did, and well, it was pretty incredible.
Mhm.
Initially, their product was the Square card reader.
Yeah.
So I used to have a brick and mortar store. I used to have a retail store, and when we got the old credit card system, they would knock on your door. They like the fee structure was just so convoluted. Like it was this thick old contract saying like they're
Yeah.
going to charge you 2 to 3% per swipe, and if it's a debit card, it costs this much. And if you don't generate at least $500 of fees, we're going to take $500 from you anyway. Like it was ridiculous, all the paper. And Square cut through all that crap and just said, just give us like a few pennies, a couple percentage points per swipe, and we don't care what your volume is. So that was their first product, and they've continued to evolve. You're gonna be. They have a banking charter now. You can start to borrow. Say if you're a small mom and pop up store, and you're able to generate monthly sales. You have a cash history. You have a sell history. That history, that's like your new credit history. You can borrow money just as off of your cash flow history.
Mm.
So they're just creating new. They're creating so many innovations. Like it's an incredible company, and I still think it's early innings.
For real. Square.
Square and PayPal. So I like to pick both. Um, like it's hard to pick the best one because sometimes you don't know if the best one's already overpriced. I say just you go in both of them.
I'm just gonna do dollar cost per average. That's what I'm gonna do and
There,
get because
there you go.
I'm gonna tell you what I did as a dummy. Um, my young homeboy bought in at $15 a share. He was like, OG, you gotta go get some Square. All right, so I get it at $30. It made a run to about like $100. Then it dropped to like 50, and it dropped to like 40. My dumb ass sold. Now I look on the app, $215 for one share of Square. But I'm not thinking in terms of usage. How much I would use it on? Okay, my children need some money. I'm gonna send it to you on Square, on Cash App. Then I'm talking to my homeboys. Oh, hey man, I'm about to send you some bread on Cash App. It's a quicker way to exchange that money. So it's showing me that the digital world is here in one instance. So it's like for a digital company to be doing what it's doing, you don't have to have a bank account really. You can get a card, you can get a debit card. It's like, man, what in the world? So it's like you said, the functionality from a business standpoint for you, it was a different operation. And now you can make money on the cash that you've been spending out. From a credit standpoint, it's like, man, what the hell? Like it is a company that's growing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what enabling buying Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies on Square and PayPal did, it effectively turned them into an online bank because you just buy Bitcoin and it's just going to keep going up because it's a scarce asset. Like there's only 21 million Bitcoins. That's what the protocol says. So people, their money comes in. First thing they should do is put a little bit away. They throw a little $20 here into holding Bitcoin. It's effectively a bank account, and they made what's like really like innovative way they did it. They made it much easier than the other onboarding the other companies to buy crypto from.
Yeah.
Like it's very simple. Um, it's very secure. You don't have to worry about someone stealing your keys. You don't have to worry about someone stealing your password.
Yeah.
Um, like they protect it for you. So it's your Bitcoin will just be out there in the cloud. You don't need to have a hardware wallet or whatever. And I think that appeals to some people, or that will appeal to a lot of people.
Yeah. And that's only gonna grow to a wallet though. to be honest with you. Because if to me it's like if Square put 425 million on Bitcoin, now you offering people to buy Bitcoin too, that money is gonna grow. You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, I can only imagine, bro. Like shit. What's the really come with this?
So
So what?
Bitcoin, so Bitcoin is it's like the base layer of we're calling like the Internet 3.0, which is blockchain. So Bitcoin had an interesting run up back in August. You may notice it ran up from like eight to 12K in a pretty quick
Yeah.
moment, and it kind of backed off a little bit.
Uh-huh. In August.
So back in August.
Yeah.
So that run up was there's this interest in something called decentralized finance, DeFi.
Yeah, DeFi.
Are you familiar with that? It's like earning basically earning interest off of your stable coins.
Yeah. You know the
So
offer on Coinbase, right? That's what you're talking about.
yeah, so there's some coins. They're basically digital dollars. What Coinbase backs one called USD Coin. There's another stable coin called Tether. That's more popular in Europe. It's basically a one for $1. So a digital dollar for a regular dollar, whether it's a euro dollar or US dollar. There's a few there's several of them. Those are two to name a few.
So
So
that's when we were talking about like you're able to get or make more money
yeah,
in these spaces versus having your money in an account, right?
you can earn 10 to 12% interest on these. They're basically blockchain banks. So instead of having the bank be the middleman, that someone can borrow and that interest gets spread with all the people that deposit, the depositors. So having to split that spread with everyone else, instead of splitting that spread with the bank, that can get shared with the people that deposit. So the people that borrow the money, they have to put up collateral. So they'll stick in like half an ether, which would be like 350,
Mm-hmm.
and then they can borrow like $200 off of that ether. So they're putting in hard collateral to protect you. But I'm getting into this basically to say that having Square and PayPal have that base layer of Bitcoin plugged in,
Mm-hmm.
these people are being plugged into the financial ecosystem. So do you want to put it in the bank and get like 0.7% interest, which is like pennies? You want to lend me $1 and I'll give you like a fraction of a penny, or you want to get like 10% interest, 12% interest. Like they're gonna keep
You
building.
said 0.7 versus 10%. It's like I don't even think people understand. Like
Mhm.
you break that down to I say a sixth grader. I would say a third grader, but that's basic math. But like break it down
Mhm.
to a sixth grader. So let's say for instance, 7% of $100 is what?
7% of $100 is
Yeah.
$7. So if you deposit your money in this bank, this
Mm-hmm.
$100, come back in a year and you'll get $107. You'll get $7 topped off on it, and that's interest.
But if you do $100 off of 10%, what is that?
So 0.7 would be you're getting 70 cents. That's what a regular bank, like your JP Morgan, your Bank of America, only get like 0.7, like very, very small. So you come back after a year, your $100 becomes $100.70,
That ain't a lot of money.
which is like nothing, right? It's pennies.
Yeah, that ain't nothing.
So if you pump it up to 10%, you get $10. Like that's massive.
Hell yeah. But I
So
mean,
these are I'm mentioning like these aren't there yet.
but you just saying the
Like they're not very
capabilities.
user friendly platforms yet.
But I'm saying
It's
like
starting out with building Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's coming. They're gonna keep adding more features.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like why not at least take some time to read on the white pages on what Bitcoin is, read on the white pages of what Ethereum is, so you can see what's going on, and now you don't have to base it on the theory of, oh man, it's not gonna work. Hell, we didn't. I remember thinking that what the hell, what's the use of the internet? But I remember listening to Gary Vee talking about he was selling wine on the internet. You know what I'm saying? It's like if we were selling wine and people weren't worried about putting their card information on here on the internet, it's like, well, now we talking about money, like digital money now, digital assets. So it's like, man, it has me thinking in a different way. Like, how do I set up these protocols on whether it's my website, whether it's me being a barber? Like, let me accept Bitcoin and Ethereum for payment. Why, like why not? Why not go into that mind frame? Why not go into that space? And I think it'll really be a great opportunity. Yo, this is Art of Architect with More Than a Haircut podcast. Tune in every Friday for new content. Definitely on Anchor as well as YouTube and on IG. Hit your boy up. It's More Than a Haircut. No, I was just saying,
Yeah,
like,
I took a look at I took a look at PayPal's. It's really easy to use. It's made like a couple dollars to buy Bitcoin. It's still in early phases. It's super simple. It's like AOL dial up days. Um, on the back end, like the new cutting edge coins and this decentralized finance, there's some pretty amazing like functionality that's being tested. There's over $1 billion in stable coins being borrowed and lent on these platforms now.
oh,
Imagine what's going to happen when Square and PayPal,
really
if
go
they
up.
if they build that in.
Oh man, that's making me thinking about Salt. That coin called Salt, where you can lend your money out, and people can, you can borrow on that junk.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned that. Did that project ever take off?
Man, it started to at first. When we had that rally with Bitcoin, it started to at first, but then it went from like seven, eight, nine, $10. Now it went back down to like two, and then it may have gone down to like $1. But I'm like, that was something that I was interested in because again, it's technology. Technology is continuously growing. It's continuously improving. So it's like, why not? Why not when I know that now I had an option to be able to put my paint on like some of my paintings on the blockchain. So it's figuring out that technology and how to go about doing it. Like that's one of my ideas. That's one of my situations that I want to look at. Like how can I go about doing it? How can I go about making it happen? Yeah. Um. Now you got to take over on this right here, bro. You were talking about Bitcoin options, cause I'm like, what the hell? Like you can make some money. Like it's like trading the stocks with the Bitcoin options. Like what's going on with this now?
Yeah, a friend just put this on my radar recently, and so an options contract is basically it's a bet. It's like a coin flip bet. It's like if you're betting that the price of this coin is going to be such and such in the future, and if it hits that price that you think it is, you're in the money. You'll make money. And if Bitcoin doesn't rise that level, then you're out of the money. You lose whatever your bet is. So either you win or lose. So what was interesting was the price tag, not specifically the price of to execute the contract, but people are speculating that we're going to have 120, 140k Bitcoin next September. Like people are putting money on that, and that blew my mind. That people are that bullish on it.
Cause it's just like when we were bullish on it a couple of years ago. It's like, yeah, we were talking about a rally that it was supposed to be like 100K right now, but what I'm saying, it dropped down. So I'm like, I don't know how it's gonna work. I don't know how this decade gonna be, but I'm willing to say that I want to invest way more money into Bitcoin than I have been. I might not go for the options aspect, but at least if I see my money can 5 times itself, man, why not put $100 over there and look at it grow versus just showing the little money I got. Like, yeah, I got that. I think that's kind of crazy, but that's just me. That's just me.
But yeah, the main thing I want to take away from that is there are people that are putting their money on saying this is going to go to 100K. When you buy a coin, let's say you get a whole Bitcoin or you're buying fractions, usually you're expressing that I think this is going to go up. I want to hold it. When you get into the options side, that's not my forte. But I think it's interesting to see what other people in the market are expressing, and they're expressing that they think Bitcoin is going to go up to 120 or 140. So an options is saying like if it goes up to 120K, I'm doing a contract that I can buy 100 Bitcoins at this price, and I can just flip the Bitcoin at that point.
Man, that's a real risk. I just hope people understand that's gonna be that's what do you it's like,
Yeah.
man, I'm not willing to put my life on the line like that.
Yeah, it's a coin flip bet. You know, like you hit or zero. So if zero is going to wipe you out, it's going to be catastrophe. You're going to have to start over. You know, to reaccumulate from zero. Like trust me, it's not worth it. You have to know what your risk tolerance is, and you don't have to get into anything clever or complicated. You can keep it simple and still make a fortune.
Yeah, you definitely make a fortune with if you had $1,000, you could have made 237 million in a decade. So to me, it's like, well, what's gonna happen in this decade? So the night is still young, if you ask me, to be able to invest. So that's what I'm really like looking forward to and really doing. So
What do you think is causing the all the price action now? Like the rally from 19 to 20, 24, and then it shot up to 28. What's going on now? What's going on? What are people feeling?
I'm gonna tell you what I think it is. I want to say it goes back to when I saw that London put that 20 billion, and people can go and you can go and do your research on this. They put 20 billion on the blockchain last year. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, probably need to start putting a little bit over here into the crypto space. You know what I'm saying? Now, so when it make its run, that's like that's 20 billion of hard cash. Then you come back and you say another company like Square and PayPal, they both put money on it at the beginning of COVID. It's like, all right. So you go from there, and then I started thinking about how we started using everything was like tech based and essential workers. You know what I'm saying? Like we having to use Zoom a whole lot more. The kids having to use Zoom for school, whether that's college, high school, elementary. So I'm like, all right, if tech is in the space, we're going to digital currency, right? And we're dealing with digital money. So I feel like that 3.0 transition that you're talking about with Bitcoin and blockchain, it's like it's a whole nother level of things that's going on that we have to talk about, we have to process, I feel like on a weekly basis because it's gonna start moving so fast to where it's like some people not even gonna be able to understand or catch up. So I even tell the younger kids like, listen, teach your elders how to use this cryptocurrency and set up the space to do wallets and all kinds of stuff. So I just think it's based on like those technicalities of technology. These how business is going more from like paying cash to we doing digital. They don't want they don't want the coins anymore. I can't even go inside the bank and get, you know, gold coins or silver coins anymore. You know what I'm saying? Or even put those coins into the bank. I could put it in the circulation in a grocery store or when I go to Walmart or Family Dollar or you know the pizza store. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna go up, but that's my take, man. Cause just from seeing it, it rise and it'll fall. It'll rise, it'll fall, and this has been going on. So I I
So,
I,
mhm.
I think it'll be a drawback, but I don't think it'll be like years past.
So
Like when it
last
did.
kind of on that thread, last last Thursday, Christmas Eve, this friend in Nashville reached out to me, and she was asking me all these very specific questions about Bitcoin, about how to invest, why to invest. And I explained dollar cost averaging. And I set up an auto buy. Basically, I buy like $50 a week of
Mhm.
Bitcoin, whether it goes up or down, it executes.
Yeah.
So, because when you see it going up or down so much, it's like, oh, I should wait or I should get
Yeah.
more. Like your emotions are all over the place.
Yeah.
That's to be honest. So I just want to remove that out of the equation and set up an auto buy. So that's what I encourage her to do. And I let her know her like the results of that. Like if you save $50 a week for 3 years, that's about $7,800, and basically you would have had a Bitcoin. You would have turned that 7,800 into about $27,000 in one Bitcoin in 3 years. So just saying that when you set that vision, that plan, um, you see the light bulbs start going off.
Yeah.
Then she started asking me about what's Grayscale Bitcoin, um, what's the ticker for it, and the way she was asking it was like it was a stock. I was like, well, she's getting into some stuff. Like this is getting more advanced than I normally do when people reach out. So I gave her a call, and she says, oh hey, so my mom has some questions for you.
Mhm.
It was her mom. Her
Ah,
mom was a year from retirement, and I thought she was very financially savvy. Like she has her 401k set up with Vanguard. She's got a TD Ameritrade set up,
mhm.
and she says she's asked me. She kind of broke down her situation. She says she's like a year from retirement. She'll need to get a little bit, live a little bit off of her Vanguard. Her Vanguard is mostly index funds and bonds,
Yeah.
and then her Social Security checks in. But I could kind of sense that she wanted more growth. Like she's seeing the action that's going on there. So Grayscale Bitcoin it's a holding company. So they bought like 500,000 Bitcoins,
Mm.
and then they issue shares. They issue they issue shares. They're last I look they're like 28 $30 per share, and
Mhm.
that represents a claim to their Bitcoin.
Okay.
So, so my advice to her was, yeah, Grayscale Bitcoin, that's a legitimate company. Um, you can
What was the
start with
name of
like
that company again?
Grayscale Bitcoin or
Grace or GRACE or GRAY?
gray, like the color gray,
Mm-hmm.
scale Bitcoin,
Okay.
GB. So BTC, so G with a BTC after Grayscale Bitcoin. I said start with 1% and start learning about it because once you're vested, you're much more motivated to know to learn more and kind of follow the space. I think
Yeah.
at this point Bitcoin was at about 24,000. She's like, oh, I'm about to get off and I'm gonna put my order in. So I said start with the 1%, and it is volatile. You don't want to do any like major moves. Just start with the 1%. See what you're getting to. You don't have to worry about like your Grayscale Bitcoin shares up in the cloud. You don't have to worry about hacks. You don't have to worry about your hardware wallet burning down or anything like that. And this bet that we're making on Bitcoin, like it could be 100,000. That's like 5x. If you start with 1% of your portfolio and Grayscale Bitcoin, it could become 5% of your portfolio. And if it corrects, if it drops in half, you lost 0.5% of your portfolio. Well, you still have your stocks and bonds to pick you up. You're gonna win either way.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was pretty interesting.
Hell
uh, I,
yeah.
yeah.
Because I think like a lot of people don't realize that you're not just investing money, you're investing into technology. And I feel like once people get that as a ground and an understanding, like I'm investing into technology, now go and study what the technology is doing. Because you may think about something that can be done for this technology. And it can be used in a way in which it helps. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like that's what I like to tell people. Like it's yeah, you invest in money, but don't go off of just what I'm telling you. You got to study this stuff too. So like when my homeboy sent me that message, I'm like, yeah, that's a great question. It's needed to be asked. So now, as we go forward, just based off your question, that lets me know that you're doing the homework, and I'm not always coming with all the information because once I come with the information and you're not either listening or taking heed, I'm not gonna keep giving you the information because it's not gonna register what I'm saying when I say check this out and move on it.
Yeah, at the pace it's moving, just to say, how the saying goes, um, like you can answer their question now. Eventually, the technology progresses, and then the information becomes stale. You know, the best we can do is kind of empower them to learn, be able to learn, and it's updating so quick. Like things you can do on Bitcoin now, than we could like 3 years ago. Like the whole ecosystem has like
Damn.
progressed amazing, and just showing them how to like where to go to, and that's good that when they're asking good questions, you can tell they're really thinking about it.
Gotcha. That's what's up, man. Like, I mean, you pretty much, you know, another great session, man. Like, I definitely want to keep progressing and keep this going, man. Like, I didn't have anything else, but I know the next, the next one I know I want to dig into like the agriculture into the cannabis into the hemp industries. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really feel like that with what we were talking about with Mississippi and seeing the because I've been on this app called Clubhouse lately, and I've been in a few rooms, and some of the points that they bringing up are that it's like the people that's working for the government don't even know, and they don't even know the information dealing with cannabis. These laws have been in place, and they really just in a position just holding space versus really knowing what this plant is about, how to grow it, how to use, you know what I'm saying? The really like the functionality of the whole plant. They really don't know. So it's like, wow. So they really playing a game with our lives. You know, that's been a point of emphasis. So now it's like, okay, if that's the case, then let me educate myself on the laws that govern, you know what I'm saying, to me the medicine, because I call it medicine versus calling it a drug. Number two, where what are the different laws and what areas are where cannabis is legalized. What are the restrictions? You know what I'm saying? And number three, what is the future of this product, the product or project? So those are some of the spaces that like I said, I want to cover on the next finances meets technology talk. I really want to dive into that. So I mean, if you got anything else, I mean, we pretty much
Uh,
covered a lot.
yeah, I have two more,
Okay.
if time allows. So on the crypto side, an interesting space to watch. This is more on the equity side, on the stock side.
Okay.
Um, but there's other ways to get involved in this potential of this new fintech growth of crypto, in addition to Square and PayPal.
Okay.
So one way is through mining. So instead of being the miner and having the machines, I tried that. It's very noisy. It
I
generates a lot of heat,
was about to say it's gonna be
and
hot as hell,
uh,
Lee.
and you have to keep buying more machines constantly. So it never unplugs. It just keeps going and going. But there's two companies that they own Bitcoin miners, and they have very cheap electricity. It's like 4 cents per kilowatt hour. They have very very cheap power, so it's very profitable. So one ticker is called Mara. It's Marathon, Mara.
Okay.
They're a Bitcoin mining company, and the other one is Riot Blockchain. Have you heard of either of these?
Riot blockchain. Are these on the stock market?
These are stock equities. Yeah.
I heard of Riot. I think I heard Riot last week. because it was like somebody sent me a message asking about Riot. What did I
Mhm.
think of the block? It was a blockchain company. And I was like, I told him I would get into it because blockchain is like when you said 3.0, blockchain is 3.0 when it comes to tech and the internet.
I've started to do some homework on it, and Bitcoin mining companies, they're fairly simple and straightforward, kind of like mining gold, like physical gold.
Hmm.
Um, they share some commonalities in that the main cost is like the equipment, just the mining equipment, and then like you just plug up more, you just dig out more out of the ground. So I probably I would probably invest in both of them. I probably would weight more of Mara Mara over Riot blockchain. I think they're both fine. So basically, their cost of mining is let me read this one. They mine like 15 to 20 bitcoins per day. 15 to 20 bitcoins per day.
Wow.
So what? 20 bitcoins times 27,000. They're generating $540,000 of revenue a day off of mining bitcoins.
500 what?
$540,000. If
Mine pay
they would mine it and just sell it right away.
$540,000.
Mm-hmm.
God dang.
15. Okay, they said 2 bitcoins per day.
Dude, that's
Oh,
insanity.
okay. Um,
And this is
I'll,
moral. You said this is moral.
yeah, I'm looking at Mara's investor presentation. If I could screen share, I could
I'm about to
cover this with you,
uh
or you could pass host to me, whichever one's easier.
don't you have to ask for the oh no, there you go. You should be able to share now.
Mm, help me out here. How do I get it on? How do I share?
Oh, you should be good now.
Okay.
You
Can
got
you
it.
see my Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Okay.
You click share screen.
Sure. I see it. Thank you.
Uh,
Okay.
it didn't come up yet though. There we go.
Here we go. Yes. So what I like about this is that a lot of people don't understand how Bitcoin mining works. So I think it might be underpriced.
Mhm.
Basically, Bitcoin mining is that every 10 minutes, the blockchain updates. We update everyone's balance, and this is part of the security. Miners will try to basically they'll solve a puzzle. Basically, they're racing to update the latest balances every 10 minutes. And if they're the first team to solve what the next block is, they get a Bitcoin reward of 6.25 Bitcoins.
6 and a quarter.
6.25 Bitcoins. So let's see, 2.7. Okay, so this is their growth plan. I think this is probably the more yeah, this has potential. So basically, they ordered a bunch of miners. They already have some warehouses going, and they have batches of them pre-ordered. They're coming in like early 2021 and third quarter. So in August, they have a bunch more coming in. So once they're at full scale by the end of next year, they'll be mining about 15 to 20 Bitcoins per day. And saying at that point, the cost per Bitcoin is about 4,100.
So
So yeah, you take a look at this little chart here.
mhm.
Their mining power goes up. The amount of equipment is going up because all their orders start coming in. They just plug them up, and they have very cheap power. Four cents is very cheap. California, I'm paying like 19 cents. They're
19.
getting, they're getting it for 4 cents.
Four.
Yeah. So just showing what their cash flow is. It's saying if Bitcoin was 16,000, they would profit 7.7 million. If Bitcoin's 18,000, they would profit 9 million per month. If Bitcoin's 20,000, 10 million.
So you saying like they getting like 12, 13, 14 million now?
Yeah, basically every $2,000 rise on Bitcoin's price, they're generating like another 1.5 million in profit per month.
So every
So
thousand, every two
yeah,
thousand. Dang.
yeah. Every 2,000 that Bitcoin rises, they become $1 million more profitable per month.
So tell me this, like how do I if I'm a first time user to get onto this, like first of all, is there a website I can go on to like check this info out for Mara? And then two, like how would I be able to invest into something like this?
So they're a they're a stock. So just search for Amara. You should be able to access it through Robinhood or through TD Ameritrade.
I'm looking it up now.
So this is how the bet goes down. Okay, so if Bitcoin goes up to $100,000, they are printing money. If Bitcoin corrects, if it goes down, then they're losing money. Like if Bitcoin drops below 16,000, so their cost per Bitcoin is only 4,000. As long as Bitcoin stays above 4,000, they're profitable. If Bitcoin goes 100,000, this company's gonna it's gonna like skyrocket. So
Wow.
it's Mara stands for Marathon Patent Group. So and the other one is Riot. So Marathon goes for about $10.19. Riot Blockchain goes for $13. So the question is, if we're getting 100K Bitcoin, they're going to be doing very well. They have contracts locked in for the miners. They have the cheapest electricity. Um, I, I, I like the bet. Like if you bet right, the stock's gonna take off.
Which one, Marathon?
Mara or Riot. Do a little bit of both. Maybe put like
That's
60%.
what I was about to say. I'm gonna put $20 on both. Like fuck it. Like I'm not gonna lose.
Yeah, it's a pretty good bet, and it's betting on what the price of Bitcoin will do, what the commodity will do, basically. So the other one I wanted to bring across in the crypto space, this is through stocks, is MicroStrategy.
Micro strategy.
Are you familiar with MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor? Are you familiar with MicroStrategy?
Never heard of micro strategy. I today I'll be on it from now.
Yeah.
That
So they,
MSTR. God damn, it's 322.
yeah. So they really took off. Back in August, they bought $600 million of Bitcoin at like $18,000 per
See what I'm
Bitcoin. So they,
you see what I'm saying? Like how these companies were buying in when it was dirty, it was dirt cheap.
Mhm. Yeah. So the CEO, like he's a visionary. Like he's up there and like the thought leader in the space, and he's like the intersection between business, Bitcoin, and economics. He's an MIT grad.
Okay.
So his story is Michael Saylor. He understands digital scarcity as Bitcoin is, right? There's a finite amount. It's like this new system, this new monetary system that we're all part of now. He bought a bunch of websites, like dog.com or, bookstore.com. He bought all these websites on the very early days of the internet. Because once you buy that domain, that's yours. And he flipped a bunch of those domains for millions of dollars. Like if you're at Amazon, you're like, hey, I need my name, a company name. I'll buy, and yeah, he made millions of dollars just off of selling websites. So he's like way ahead of the curve, and yeah, super smart guy. So if you buy MicroStrategy, what you're buying is that he owns a lot of his company owns a lot of Bitcoins. They had $600 million of cash, and what he said was the dollar is depreciating a lot because all these stimulus checks, because of all these deficits, and it could be a couple more years so we really get on our feet. Airlines are not profitable. We don't want them to go out of business. Um, So he was saying that if we keep printing money like this, I'll be losing my cash loses about 15-20% of its value every year. I'd rather put it in Bitcoin.
So he made that.
So
So he
so
so he basically tripled his money already.
oh, more than that.
I'm just saying,
Yeah,
if you buy one at eight, if you buy one
yeah,
at 8K, it's gonna
yeah.
double at 16. It's gonna triple at 24. It's at 20 what? Like 28 now? I mean 27 now, 26.
Yeah, so he kept buying. He bought more at 19K. He bought more at 22K.
Mhm.
Um, I wanted to show this part here. So this is kind of a wild card play, and like he makes some very big, bold conviction moves. He understands the internet space. Like I said, he flipped domain names for millions of dollars. Like I think you'll get some surprises if you follow this guy.
This
Like I
dude,
would. Um, this is someone else I follow named Preston. Um,
Heish.
yeah,
Excuse
yeah,
me.
he has some good ones called like the Investor Podcast. I wanted to show you what Michael Saylor's position was. Okay, so this is Michael Saylor. This is the guy that bought like over $1 billion worth of Bitcoin with his company. He says his dollar cost average is like 16,000 now,
What?
and it's at 27. So he's up like 50%, like on $1 billion something worth of Bitcoin.
Wow.
Let's see, I can find this. I might
No, see,
throw in the towel here.
I needed this because it's right, like right now I'm doing a purge right now. So it's like I'm just purging a lot of stuff that doesn't have to be a part of what I got going on. Like there's some stuff I need to be studying, especially in the tech space and finances.
Okay. All right. So this one here, this wraps up what he held. So he bought 29,646 Bitcoin at 650 million. I think this was around 8,000 Bitcoin. And then he bought 70,000 Bitcoins for 1.25 billion at about 16. And altogether, he's averaging about 16,000. And he even borrowed money. He sold a bond. This bond is like, he just pays interest. He made a pretty big bet. He took a bond for like 500 million and used it to buy Bitcoin. So that's how bullish he is, and yeah, he's been making some rounds. So yeah, keep an eye. So that's MicroStrategy, MSTR.
So Preston Pike and Michael Saylor.
Preston Pish
Fish.
and Michael Saylor.
Man.
Yeah, their podcasts tend to be pretty long. They go pretty deep into like the theory, what's going on in the economy, what's going on in government. But basically, to sum it up, is Bitcoin is a better savings account than cash. If we lose 2% a year from inflation, inflation is a cost. The prices of things keep rising. The cost of gas keeps going up. The cost of homes going up. Homes are going up like crazy. Homes are going up like 10% a year now. It's like your home is running away from you. If your goal is to be a homeowner, you're never gonna be able to afford that home if the house keep going up. So if you hold cash and it erodes at 2% per year, in 20 years, your $100 is only worth $50. So cash is a losing bet. So the ironic thing is when people say, "Oh, I'd rather hold cash because it's volatile. I don't want to lose money." If you hold cash, you lose 2% per year. You lose half your money in 20 years. You're guaranteed to lose. The thing with Bitcoin, it's volatile, but just hold it. It will
Yeah.
keep going up. Like you're
Over
guaranteed
time.
to win.
Yeah. You guaranteed to win.
As long as you can hold it. If you look in a 5-year time frame, Bitcoin has always risen in every 3 to 5 year time span. It's always gone up. So you keep enough cash on hand, just pay the bills, any emergencies. any excess cash should go into investments, and Bitcoin needs to be one of them.
That makes sense, man. That
So,
make that, yeah. God.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you just gave me more work to do on top of all the work I'm already doing. I
Okay.
can't wait though. I'm looking forward to it though.
All right. Glad that resonated with you. You're
Hell
inspired.
yeah.
But yeah, exciting space right now. Um, it's been a long hold, but we knew this was going somewhere. We held. So like one interesting question I'll pose to you is who's selling right now? Like who would want to sell?
A dummy.
So if no one's selling, price is going to go up,
Hell
right?
yeah.
So it's like
It's the scarcity thing.
it's supply and demand.
Yeah.
So I want to show you one more thing. This was something that Preston's page tweeted. So again, just like any market, there's suppliers, there's demand. Supply a Bitcoin, you get 900 Bitcoin mined per day. And this is the estimate of the demand. So Cash App users are buying up about 360
A day.
Bitcoins per day. PayPal 630. PayPal has a bigger user base. They built that user base on top of eBay for almost 20 years. So PayPal is double. Grayscale Bitcoin that we mentioned earlier, they basically put Bitcoin into retirement accounts. That's basically what they did.
That's probably why it's going up too.
They're buying a lot.
They
So
buying.
1280 is daily, and then QBTC, I think it's like another holding company, like a Grayscale. So we're mining 900 Bitcoins per day, and the consumption just from these big buyers is 2.6K. So that's a 1,500 Bitcoin deficit. So the demand far outseeds the supply.
You said the demand outweighs the supply.
Yeah, like more people want to buy it. You have you have a 1,500 Bitcoin a day shortage. Just using that as an estimate, 1,500 Bitcoin shortage. So the price just keeps going up because no one wants to sell. So we're in new territory. We don't know at what point people are like, all right, I'll give you my Bitcoin for 50K. I'll give it to you for 100K. We don't know how high that goes.
God damn.
And then 4 years from now, it's going to halve again. Instead of 6 Bitcoins per block, it's going to be 3. Imagine what's the price is going to happen there, where you get even more supply constrained. Like the demand adoption has picked up, and the mining Bitcoins has decreased even more. It's
You
going
said
up.
the mining. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The block rewards are going to keep going down every 4 years. Block reward halves.
You saying block reward?
The mining reward, yeah. So the block reward is every 10 minutes, they update the block of what the balances are.
Mm-hmm.
They issue a 6 Bitcoin reward, 6.25 to be exact. In 4 years, it's going to halve again. It's going to have the 3. So yeah, 4 years from now, can only imagine. So there's some hesitation right now on like, oh, I missed the first run, I missed the second run.
Shit, what you gonna?
What would you say to anyone that feels like they missed?
Well, you missed the Apple run, you missed the Facebook run, you missed the Amazon run. You better get on something. You better get on somebody train. You know what I mean? So it's just like for me, I'm already thinking like I'm about to buy some Bitcoin every day. I'm about to set a pace to get some every day. And just gonna, you know what I'm saying, like compile it. Where is it gonna go?
So here,
A why not put a small percentage in a portfolio? Just like I know you peeped this out. What's buddy name from Tesla? Elon Musk. He called out Dogecoin. Price double. I own a few hundred coins of that, but it ain't nothing. But it's literally like less than a penny, you know. But I'm just like, what's the future of Dogecoin? Will the youth ever get a hold of it and build something on that platform that's sustainable for the future? And if they do, man, listen, the children don't even. I don't think the children realize how powerful they can be going forward just by starting now.
Yeah, I saw that run on Dogecoin. That's always been like the joke, the meme dog coin. I still don't
Yeah.
understand it. I still think it's hilarious.
Oh yeah.
That shows the power of like influencers. So like, why does a coin go up? One is it's adopted, right? The adoption has gone up. Like more people are holding it. And secondly, it does something. So that Dogecoin does, it's like a tipping thing. Ethereum does smart contracts. People are basically built a bank on top of Ethereum.
Hmm.
So it's useful. We call it utility. So Ethereum has a lot of adoption going on. It's actually useful. Um, yeah, Ethereum has good like long term potential too.
That's yeah.
And I think Twitter is also a very important space to watch too, like the
Yes, it
stock of
is.
Twitter.
Yes, it is. Cause it's the media. It's the media phase of things.
All these podcast communities, the Bitcoin communities, the exchanges happen minute to minute uh, on on Twitter. Like, there's no faster way to do that, and the way it connects everyone. So I'm pretty bullish on Twitter as we're going to some interesting times. What's going on, and the way Twitter connects people, it does it in ways that Facebook can't. Facebook is more personal. You don't accept everyone on Facebook. You can follow. So, and Twitter is only like 60 billion. Facebook is almost a billion. I think Twitter is like severely undervalued.
Somebody else said that too. Gary V said that shit.
All the celebrities are on there, and these celebrities, these thought leaders, these communities, like they're on there like throughout the day. They want to check what are people saying. Like
Yeah,
what are markets doing.
that's
So
crazy, man.
I
That's
and I feel like a lot of people are missing it. I think some people that came in early on Twitter, they've had trouble monetizing. Trouble in the sense like it's hard to exactly to sell ads on it. This ad model doesn't. If they move to like a subscription, if they kind of change the way they monetize, but the network effect, the celebrity effect, the community effect is like massive. Like people would miss Twitter, if it was gone.
Hmm. What you think about Squire talking about acquiring title?
So Square's trying to acquire Jay Z's podcast, right?
No, his streaming service.
Streaming service, right? I remember when he launched that, and it kind of faded away. Like he
What
initially
title?
put he initially put his music exclusive to there, and then that it didn't really take off. So it seems like Spotify is kind of dominating that space,
The streaming
and
service.
yeah, and so is like Amazon and Google. I don't know what does that mean mean to you, like as an artist, if you were to sell it to Jack Dorsey and Square.
Me personally, I wouldn't, being that I know the value of art. You know what I mean? In the space of technology, streaming has cut down like the money that moves and exchanges from hand to hand to artists, peer to peer. So it's like somebody like Nipsey Hussle showed me that when you're able to create something substantial in the marketplace and you integrate vertically, nothing can change you from the streams that you get. You create your value by like being the artist or the prospective artist that you are. Meaning like you can come out with $100 mixtape, right? And you might have some people that buy it at $10, but if you have physical merch, people buying it. But like going back to title, it's one of those things where it's not like he's selling the culture, but he is in a sense if he gives it up because the shareholders are artists. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's still a private group that owns, what I'm saying, title. So, and title, from my understanding, title pays out the most money when artists actually get their music stream. It's one of the top paying companies that pay out. But I just, it's one of those things where it's like he's a businessman. So businessmen tend to sell when they see things going in the red or when they see, okay, it's not really a lucrative opportunity. But to me, with Square talking about purchasing it, that would be a big move for Square because now you're leveraging off of the talk of Bitcoin, the talk of business with swiping a card. Now you're gonna offer something to music artists that could possibly be substantial to them. If I was in the shoes of Jay Z, I would probably offer some type of ownership and maybe not sell the full product because it's like you can really take the platform to another level by partnering up with somebody who's selling their percentage of the company to them because now they bring something to the table.
So my thoughts are it's possible to integrate title and kind of respect the integrity of the artist, kind of respect that cultural ownership aspect. So if it does happen, and again, it's just in talks or it's speculative, it's a rumor. There's ways to do it, do it the right way. Um, Secondly, I would say in terms of like those artists being paid the most, say if they were exclusive to that platform, there's two ways you get paid, right? One is like, do you want $1,000 bills or you want $1 million bills? Volume pays. So the streaming space, the podcasting, and there's different models. One is like ads, like Pandora, which is another one that kind of faded away. Sirius Radio, like there's different subscription models. On Apple Music, you can buy the song outright.
Mm-hmm.
On Spotify, you can like do a subscription, and then your money gets divvies up between all artists you listen to. There's so many different business models.
Yeah.
So that's a tough neighborhood to be in because your competitors are fierce, right? They are backed by billions,
Yeah.
and you're competing against different business models, pricing models, and it's a technology platform. So whoever technology platform's the best
Mm-hmm.
is gonna attract the users. So transferring to Square, you have to integrate them well. Um, it People are on that app like it becomes a super app where they could have like they already have shopping on there. You can buy gift cards on there. Like they keep building more and more on top of it. So it's an interesting it's interesting potential partnership or acquisition.
Yeah. It is because it makes me think like, damn, like if I was in that position, like how am I working? What am I doing? What am I, what is my pace? You know what I'm saying? So that's hmm, I think that's something I'll be really thinking about this week, man, and probably have more for you. But like I said, man, I appreciate this space because it's got me thinking, and I'm like, man, like I can only imagine, bro, like 2 years from now, saying because I was making these moves and how I was making them, it helped me out, bro. So yeah, I don't want to hold you, man. I definitely appreciate you checking in and doing this. So if you got any words, what I'm saying, or advice, just dealing in these sectors, man, just drop that before we get off, man.
All right. Well, thanks for having me. It's been a good it's been a good year for investors. Very thankful for that. I just encourage everyone, if you're doing well, share the abundance with others. I've sent out some Christmas gifts to people that I knew were in like harder times. So there's plenty more opportunities to come. There's the garden is becoming more abundant. So I think just keep sharing the knowledge and keep sh- sharing with others. That's really all I have to say.
Yeah, I feel you. And one other thing that I know that I've been doing personally is I've been investing into books and tangible information to where I'm starting to see people around me wanting more. So like that 25 Sale Habits has been a great book that my cousin was talking to me. I was like, listen, if you want to have a space, here it is. Let's go forth and do this. I'll buy this book. we'll start by building our conversations going forward with this. And a couple other people got the book too. So that way it's just like I, my team is getting strong and things are looking up. So again, man, I appreciate you, man. I ain't gonna hold you, and man, I'm looking forward to the next one, man.
All right.
It's
Good
always
talking to
good.
you, bro. Have a good night.
Peace, man. All right, bro.